It's so bad. We can't even have a conversation about the winners and losers of this transfer window because it is so patently obvious that the loser of this window is Arsenal Football Club. I cannot believe how poorly they have performed. Cast your minds back to 31 days ago. On the 1st of January this year, they had the performance of the season, apparently. It was certainly one of their best performances this season, and arguably it was one of Mikel Arteta's best performances as a manager. And 31 days later, they have had a disaster. On that day, people were saying that they were going to qualify for the European Cup next season. There were debates constantly going that Arsenal had found their form. Mikel Arteta had got it right, and trusting the process had actually worked. Fast forward 31 days, and Arteta, combined with the impact of Edu, have really let that club down. I cannot believe how poorly they have got it. Alexandre Isaac, didn't happen. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, didn't happen. Dusan Vlahovic, didn't happen. How many can they let not happen and then, crucially, allow Aubameyang to leave? I think it has been a disaster. I think it has been so bad, and I actually think heads will and should roll for this. It's appalling. But look, if you're an Arsenal fan, don't worry. There is some reason to be positive. You have signed some goalie from the New England Revolution called Matt Turner, and also some fella from the Colorado Rapids called Trusty. So I can't believe it. I just can't believe how terrible this transfer window has been. Arsenal have scored 1 goal this calendar year, and that was in the first few hours of the year on the game that I just spoke about. They scored 1 goal on the first. Since then, they've been launched out of 2 cup competitions and haven't scored a goal in any league game. And they have allowed Aubameyang to move to Barcelona, and they haven't replaced him. This is borderline incompetence. It's incompetence. I genuinely feel sorry for Arsenal fans. Do you know what? I'm in a WhatsApp group with a few members of my family. I've got a lot of Arsenal fans in my family because I'm from North London. And somebody put in the group, what does Edu actually do? And do you know what a reply came? A reply came, one good thing he's good at, he's really good at letting footballers, talented footballers, leave his club for free. He's excellent at letting players leave for free. I mean, that isn't a skill. I mean, my friend said it in a sort of, obviously, tongue-in-cheek way. But this is madness. And can you imagine a situation a few months ago where I would say that Arsenal would let Aubameyang leave, they would not bring a replacement in, and they would go into the second half of the season relying on Alexandre, Lacazette and Edu and Nketiah. Lacazette and Nketiah up front for the rest of the season, when Champions League football is a genuine, real, tangible possibility. They've blown it. They have absolutely blown it. In pure footballing terms, this is utterly madness from Arsenal. And Edu has got it so wrong. It's unbelievable. I mean, Arsenal literally called a game off because they didn't have enough football players. Since then, they have let player after player leave and haven't recruited anyone in. This is a very rare moment for me because it doesn't happen often. I am speechless. I genuinely don't know what to say. They had a game called off because they did not have enough players. They then have let the likes of Callum Chambers, Kolasinac, Pablo Mari leave the club. They haven't brought anyone in. They obviously didn't have a strong enough squad. And now they've let... and also Maitland-Niles went to Roma, didn't he? That's off the top of my head, 4 players. They've let 4 leave. Prior to that, they didn't have enough players. 4 more have gone. They haven't brought anyone in. And they think that they're going to be strong enough to launch a serious and sustained bid for the top 4. I mean, you know it's a bad situation for Arsenal, and you know it's appalling conduct from the boardroom level down when a non-Arsenal fan is mildly irritated by the way that it's going. Like, I just find these people in positions of power in football truly incompetent. It's a worry. I mean, how can you let a player of Aubameyang's quality go without bringing in somebody to share the goal burden? I truly can't understand it. I mean, look, Xavi, right, at Barcelona, they've been making some moves this window. Ferran Torres, Adama Traore, right? They have identified Aubameyang as a primary target to strengthen up top for them. Juventus have identified Aubameyang as a primary target to slot into that number 9 position for them. And yet he doesn't get in the Arsenal team. At some point, will people start questioning Arteta and Arteta's decision to effectively declare war on Aubameyang? And when you declare war on a footballer in the way that he did, you cannot backtrack. It's one thing to say that he's off form or not playing particularly well, but it's a totally different thing to say that his professionalism needs to be questioned. Arteta stripped Aubameyang of the captaincy. He made him train alone. All off the back of him returning late from a sanctioned trip to France to see his unwell mother. Arteta has got this wrong. And when this first happened, Arsenal fans, particularly in my experience of Arsenal fans at least, they seem to be fairly supportive of this move from Arteta. They seem to be in favour of Arteta laying down the discipline and restoring a little bit of discipline and regiment into Arsenal. And at first it looked all right. In the immediate period, when Aubameyang was cast aside, Arsenal scored goals galore. And it looked like it was the right decision. But football can't be judged in a very succinct, small period. You've got to look at it over the season. And the goals dried up. Pinging 5 past Norwich or whatever, they dried up. And now you need somebody with class. Aubameyang is mustard. He's a wicked footballer. Whatever spin you want to put on it, whatever you think about him as a person or whatever, he is the best player at that club. He's the best striker at that club. And he's arguably a world-class player. They've cast him adrift. And for what? To allow Edu Nketiah to lead the line, a player we know isn't good enough. Even in a season for Aubameyang where it isn't going his way and he hasn't been playing a lot of games, he still scored 7 goals in 15 across all competitions. 7 in 15. 1 in 2. Considering that he's off form. And now Arsenal are going to go in to the second half of the season and allow Nketiah and Lacazette to lead the line. I just don't get it. And for me, the answer to Arsenal's problems is so easy. You play Aubameyang straight through the middle. You get Martinelli on one side of him. You get Saka on the other. You've got Smith Rowe to use when you need him. You get Partey and, dare I say it, Granit Xhaka behind. That, as a template, probably makes the Champions League, particularly from the position that they're in now. And Arteta has blown it. Arteta has completely blown it by being petty and by being stubborn. The responsibility of a good manager is to coax the best performances out of your best players. Rule number 1, get the good players playing well. You don't cast them adrift. You don't treat them like this. It is just an appalling move. And Arsenal's transfer window, it's actually difficult for me to comprehend quite how bad it is. But there it is. Look, tomorrow we could do a video about who the winners of this window are. And there are some. But in terms of the losers, there is only one contender. Alexandre Isaac, where are you? Dom Calvert-Lewin, where are you? Dusan Vlahovic. None of the above are in North London. And that is what's going to stop Arsenal getting anywhere near the Champions League this year. Sorry, Arsenal fans, that must have been a painful listen, I'm sure. But as always, I am very interested in your thoughts. So please comment below. Let me know, do you agree with my assessment? Do you hold Edu and Arteta as accountable as I do? Or have I been a little bit too harsh? And is there a more complex story to be told? And is Aubameyang ultimately responsible for the demise of his career at Arsenal? I don't see it that way. But let me know if you do. As always, I really do appreciate you watching this video. So if you would do me the honour of clicking like, click subscribe. I adore the community that we're building on this channel. I hope you have a good night. I will see you all very soon. And remember, go easy, step lightly and stay free. Ta-da.